Been thinking a lot about Boston, like the band and the weather ain't high. Then again, there's Colorado. They got the mountains legalized. Somewhere out in Oklahoma, hey, I could get lost out there. Palm Springs and New Orleans, hell, I don't care. Gotta get a new hometown, don't let that bring me down. Somewhere where I won't see you every time I turn around. I used to think I'd never leave, that was when you still loved me. But you broke my heart and drug it around my small town. So now I need a new hometown.
Hey guys, we are live backstage at Joe's on Weed, and I am with one of country's rising stars. I am talking about Mike Ryan. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am good. Did you bring this cold weather or what?
Well, I mean, we tried not to, but it looks like it followed us up here.
I know, right? Did you bring that warm coat, I hope?
I did. I got a couple, actually, to choose from. I might wear all of them. It's very cold outside.
Right. It's crazy. It's really crazy. We call it winter, but I don't care. It's not that much fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, have you had a chance to do anything fun while you've been here in Chicago, like maybe get some pizza? Everybody talks about the pizza in Chicago.
We are definitely going to hit someplace up for dinner shortly.
Okay.
We got here just a few hours ago, so we haven't really had a whole lot of time to mix it up around here, but we will before showtime. We're going to experience as much of Chicago as we can, and then maybe a little bit tomorrow morning before we head out.
Right. That sounds perfect. Well, I have to tell you, I have been listening to the new album, and I am in love with the new album. I have a favorite song.
Do you?
I do. First of all, you guys have got to download the album. It is Blink You'll Miss It. This is your third album, correct? Yep. And it is phenomenal. And so one question I have, well, I got a lot of questions, but how did you come up with the artwork for the album? I love that.
Well, that's actually, that's an old picture. That's me and my brother. We were out at we had some property where my dad had an apple orchard growing up, and Mom and Dad had hired us that morning to paint the chicken coop. And so we were in the process of painting the chicken coop red. My grandmother actually took that picture, and my parents were there too, just around the corner. So it's really cool. I'd kind of forgotten all about that, but when my manager was putting together some ideas for the album, he reached out to my folks and just to see if they had any pictures like that, and sure enough, they had a whole pile of them that they sent over, and that's got to be one of my favorite pictures of all time.
It is. What's so amazing is that devilish, innocent face that you, right? The two of you guys have.
That's right. Yeah, we were so. I feel like there was some mischief happening. If it didn't happen right as the picture was taken, it was shortly after. But yeah, we definitely got in plenty of trouble growing up.
It is. So let's talk about some of the songs on the album. I love the fact that you have some incredible collaborations. Chris Stapleton, Brad Paisley. So what was it like working with some of those guys?
Both Chris and Brad were involved with Seagill when I first started working with them at the time in about 2013. I've had the pleasure of riding with the fine folks at Seagill for a long time, and Chris was there when I first got there, and as soon as I realized that he was one of the riders at Seagill, I did everything I could to dive as deep into his catalog as I could, because he's got an incredible body of work, and that song, the One Way, is the one that we did of his, and I couldn't be more happy with the way that turned out, and we were thrilled with the opportunity to record it. Stapleton's just such a fine artist in just about everything he does, and it's really cool to have one of his tunes there. And Brad is actually one of the owners of Seagill, and we got to co-write a song on his last record called Last Time for Everything, and we were recording kind of at the same time, and there was a song called The Rewrite on this record that was, he felt like it was kind of in his wheelhouse, I guess. We sent it over to him just to see what he thought of it, and he sent it back with a whole bunch of guitar parts added, so that was pretty cool. That guitar solo on The Rewrite is Brad's, and if you didn't know, I mean, he's got a pretty iconic guitar sound, so it's it's really cool having those kind of guys on the record, and we couldn't have been happier with the way it turned out.
It is amazing. It really is. Like I was saying before, that what is it? New Hometown is actually one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I've been listening to it, and it's great. It's great. I love it because I think we've all felt that at some point of our lives.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and that song ended up kind of subconsciously shaping this album. I wrote that one right at the end of the last album that we wrote, Bad Reputation. I wrote New Hometown right as we were finishing that one up in the studio, so we didn't have a spot for it on that current record, and so I just started playing it live, and we had to wait for a new project. And as I was writing for the next record, those kind of hometown vibes and family and, you know, growing up and things like that, appreciating what you got, that sort of shaped the record without knowing it. And I'm really that's definitely one of my favorite songs too.
Right.
And I can't say that I've had that happen by a song before. Usually I just kind of write, and then when I get enough songs for a record, I'll put them out. But New Hometown was like, it was kind of cool how it shaped the rest of the record after I wrote it. So.
I think so too. It's pretty amazing. So speaking about family, you come from a big musical family. Your grandfather, and so your grandfather was Texas Nation Band, right?
Texas National Guard.
National Guard.
That's
Okay,
right.
see, I was close. I was somewhere near it. And then your dad also was in music as well, right?
Yeah.
What did he do?
So, Dad was in several bands, but what I remember watching him do the most when I was younger, he was in a couple of different off-Broadway musicals. And so I remember being a part of several audiences as a young buck, just watching my dad up on stage, you know, and in both of those musicals that he was in, he actually had a lead role. And so, you know, I was pretty impressed as a young guy watching my dad, you know, with the spotlight on him. And it took me a while to follow suit. I mean, I was always involved with music in one way or another growing up, but I felt like it was mostly because my parents signed me up for the classes and they kind of pushed me in that direction. But when I was in high school, that's when I kind of started to figure out how much music moved me, and that's when I kind of started to realize it. And you know, it was a snowball effect from there. I just got more and more involved the more I did it.
So speaking of that, if you didn't play music and you didn't sing and you didn't write, what do you think you would have done?
You know, I've gotten this question a few times before, and it's hard to answer. I was a criminal justice major in college, so there was aspirations of federal law enforcement at some point. I also am a big fan of cooking, so I feel like maybe I could have pursued a culinary career.
What do you like to cook?
I mean, I like all kinds of different things. Things on the grill are you know, that's what I try and do the most. I've been following Gordon Ramsay for a long time. He's one of my
He's a
favorites.
crazy guy.
Yes, he is. Tom Colicchio is another one. There's a lot of shows that I'll watch, and I find it very entertaining, especially Gordon on his his intensity is I don't know that I'd want to cook under him or work with him.
No, I certainly
But I'd
wouldn't
love
want
meet
to.
him. I'd love to hang out with him in like a completely non-professional setting.
Exactly. So outside of music, what do you like to do besides cooking, right?
Yes. Well, I'm a new dad, so
Congratulations!
thank you. I just had a baby December 13th, so
You're very new.
very new. Yes, and I'm very excited about my little man. Spending time with him is definitely one of my new favorite pastimes. I really enjoy the outdoors. I hunt and fish as often as I can, and you know, just explore. There's a couple of places that I've been looking into with friends here recently that we're thinking about going to vacation. It's like hiking, camping type of stuff. Just spending a week or so in the great outdoors.
Exactly.
I enjoy that. You know, living off the land type of stuff, taking very little to eat and having to just find stuff out there to eat, you know.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever done that, but it sounds pretty cool, guys.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing, but that's okay. So for the younger generation, kids that really want to go into music, what advice would you give them?
Well, one thing that I feel like helped me out early on is I got a couple of buddies that I just started writing with and playing with early on, and that was really it really just made it fun, you know, and kind of like, you know, like a workout buddy or something. When you don't feel like going, you know, you got somebody that'll be like, come on, just let's go, you know.
Right.
And you got somebody that'll pull you through it when you're not feeling it. And I feel like having good friends early on, and then involving myself with, you know, similarly minded people that were trying to do the same things as I was doing, and, you know, positive energy. I try not to involve myself too much with negativity, and I feel like that definitely helps a lot. But yeah, I would say just to do it as often as you can and find friends that like to do it with you.
Right. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Right. So this is my last question, because I know you got to get back. You got a lot of stuff going on, and you got a big show going on tonight too.
Yeah.
So my last question, which is a fun question. So if you were a groupie or a very big fan for any artist or any band, and it could be in any genre, and they can be dead or alive, who would it be for?
So that's kind of like asking who's my favorite band of all time.
Not really. No, actually, it's kind of different. Who you really want to be like hanging out, you know, like obsessed with almost.
Well, you know, I've been a big fan of the Eagles all along. They were one of the earliest bands I got. I wouldn't call it involved with. I've never met them, but inspired by. Stevie Wonder is another one. Elton John. Those are two of my kind of favorite vocalists. And I don't know. That's always such a difficult question. ZZ Top. I'm also a fan of them. Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know,
I know a lot of them,
the
right?
list goes on and on.
It keeps going and going, but those are really good ones.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
Oh.
I try and give as much credit to the people that inspire me as I can. Only problem is there's a lot of people. That list is pretty long, so I don't get to shine as much as I do, or as much as I can on all of them. But those are my top ones anyway.
Right. Well, I love that, and we are so excited for tonight's show.
How we feel in Chicago this evening? Good to see you. I don't know no three-piece suit, some old jeans, a new pair of boots, clean shirt that's dressing up for me. I don't own no new Cadillac, I drive a truck with a dog in the back. I got them both in 2003. Got an old guitar that I learned how to play. I ain't Merle Haggard and I ain't George Strait, but I'm close enough for the girls I date.
And once again, for all this information and more, just go to frontrowphyllis.com. Live at Joe's on Weed, it's Front Row Phyllis.